What what do you think is the dating scene good? Is it bad? Like what are you seeing? Like what are you
Oh,
really
it's
seeing?
horrible.
It's horrible, huh?
Oh
It's
yeah.
not. So the reason why it's horrible now, a couple things. So let's go back in the day, like the old school relationships with grandma and them. Then was dealing. She was dealing with stuff with granddaddy. Have you ever been to a funeral and then at the person's funeral, kids that you never knew of show up? Like this literally happened. I hope my dad doesn't get mad, but when my grandfather passed, my grandfather had two kids that lived down south that showed up to the funeral that my dad wasn't even aware of. And but obviously my grandmother knew, and that was just something back then because it wasn't we didn't have the internet, right? So you might know your husband did something, but you just don't talk about it. You know, he's the husband in this household. He's doing right by this family. Yes, he did something out on those streets, but we're pushing forward. So now what happens is, so that's been going on forever. You know, that's nothing new. The newness is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you know, YouTube. Where now there's track records. So now as a woman, the whole world knows your man had a baby. How do you stay and still save face by the world, right? So that's one thing. But again, back in the day, if there was a cute guy in your city, all you had to worry about were the other cute girls in your city. Now you got to worry about the cute girls in all cities because now he's on Instagram and you're not just in what the word competition with the girl in New York. You're now in competition with the girl in LA, the girl in Atlanta, the girl in Florida, because he's traveling, he got money, and they can access him via his IG DMs. But one thing I will say this is one thing I have learned. People have a lot of situationship options, right? As in, there's a lot of options of people you can have sex with. Now, that is true.
Absolutely.
Men and women on both sides. But there's not a lot of options when it comes to if you really want a for real relationship. Like, this is my partner, which I want to go back to what you said earlier. The person that's going to be with me, if I couldn't work tomorrow and they're going to wipe my behind because I'm sick and I can't walk, you don't have a lot of those options. And if that's what you're seeking, then you'll be able to vet easy. The guy that you mentioned earlier, let him go. Yeah, if you feel like you got 10 options, you should have 10 because I'm not going to be a part of that roster. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. And you're not even losing nothing either.
I love hearing you talk about this with so much ease, and we could talk forever. But you know, it's sort of it's almost like there's so many little pieces to the puzzle of finding your tribe, whether that be your man, your woman, your people at work, your people in your industry. There's so many pieces to it, and it seems like the negotiation of your wants and desires is something you have to really be in tune with. What are you willing to give? If it's the money because they are a good father, or if it's the whether or not they may not be as cultured, they go out somewhere and they like ghetto at the table, and you got to kind of teach them. Like, you really have to be able to negotiate all those things, and it's not easy, but hopefully your app and your show provides people with the opportunity, whether they participate or not, to just see and learn and kind of see themselves and make a decision about how they want to show up for the relationship that they're looking for.
Well, I would say this. I would challenge, I'm gonna talk to Black people how we know. We all know the game of spades, right? And dating really is like a game of spades. We all have been dealt different cards. You have to play your hand to the best of your ability. Don't worry about the next person's hand because that's not your hand. You said something earlier. Everything shifts. Like, you could be beautiful, but let's say you got two kids. Now, that might be a two club in your hand that takes away. You have to learn your true dating hand. It's an individual game. It's not every Black woman has the same dating options. Not every white woman has the same dating options. Now all these white women are living with these. It's just not true. So learn your own dating hand and be okay with it. And if you don't like your hand, do the work to perfect yourself and become better so you can have better options. And think about companionship. I know everybody wants money, and I'm not saying you can't get money, but I love the Candy and Todd relationship. Candy obviously makes a lot of money. And I remember we watched that relationship play itself out on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Her mother wasn't a big fan of Ty because he didn't have the money. And Kenny was like, I dated the men with money and they weren't faithful. I couldn't build a life with them. I'm happy. And now they celebrate their 10-year anniversary. 2 kids, living life together. And that's what it's about.
Well, Kendra, thank you very much.
And I tell you what, Kendra always want to give that example. That's what we talk about. We saying this with Heath and Kenny Quick. Y'all got about a list of 5 or 6 examples y'all can pull from, and y'all just keep pulling these same examples over and over and over. And it's like y'all don't have any real life stuff, any stats and data. You just keep talking about Barack and Michelle, Jay-Z and Beyonce, Candy and her man. I mean,
if they keep bringing up these same anecdotal experiences over and over and over again, then maybe it'll start gaining some traction, huh?
She said the dating market is FUBAR.
I think it's FUBAR. Okay, right? We don't want to be anecdotal or whatever y'all say and use our experiences and blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff. But I think that whatever position you go out into the world with is what you ultimately attract, regardless of age. So I would be lying if I said even when I was a single woman, it was hard or whatever. I think that you just have to know what it is that your standards are and what you're looking for and not compromise on that. But at the same time, be compromising. And I think that's the issue that we're having. We have this false reality of what you should be looking for in a partner, in a person, and it's supposed to be this cookie cutter way for every single person, and it isn't. Most married people would say they don't have the same exact story of just like Mr. Walker meeting in college, right? And no shade to you, but not everybody has that, that story. Some people met in high school, fell off for a few years, got back. Some people met later in life. So yeah, I think Kendra is correct, but I think Kendra is also correct within the market that she's looking into. Whatever you make hard in life is going to be hard. It's just like people who are super broke. If you want to be broke all your life and I have money and say I got to rub 2 nickels together for my life, then that's going to be your life. But if you say I'm going to bust my ass, work hard, stay consistent, and do what I need to do to become successful, you can do it. That's what
she got up here and she said dating is like a game of spades. That was such a terrible analogy. You're talking about spades where at most 4 people sitting down at the table. You got to be more realistic. Like, oh, you got to play your hand, like being cliche, and that it's not that simple, Kendra. Of course, everybody's dealt it. These women don't want to play their hand. They want to play your hand, Kendra.
Exactly. That's my point. At some point, once you've gone so far in your life, 40, let's say 44, 45, the choices are made. What did Heathen Queen say? You stuck in your ways around 40 years old. We can't get to this age and be like, this is how I've been moving like an independent, strong woman up into 44. But now I want to rewrite the rules. I'm gonna keep saying it. Some of these situations just FUBAR. They are. You can't always work yourself out of everything. Not everything.
Very much. And I want to go on this app and see what's going on with this app. I love watching the show. It makes me laugh a lot of times. Just your expressions when you having these conversations, just they make me tickle.
Yeah. The world is crazy. I can vouch for it. I know for sure.
Well, you're out there in it. Thank you, and success, all the success
yes,
to you,
Queen. We
for
appreciate
what you're building.
So that's it. So this woman, Tamika Mallory, she come up here pretty much says she is not settling for a man, even at 44. I see one of y'all in the chat says she's a grandma, and yeah.
Nah, is that you? Nah. That's fine. There ain't nothing wrong with being a grandma. I can't wait to be a granddaddy someday. But come on, I won't be a single man being a granddaddy. I tell you that. Come on, sister. 44. You don't want to be young ladies. Like Gavin said, these are cautionary tales. You can't save these sisters. It's over. The young ladies need to be able to observe these doves up here crying these purple tears of shame and torment and be like, okay, that boss chick route I was going to take, I ain't going to do that. Because I was
going to say, we started off tonight talking about Ebony Williams. She's in the same age demographic as this woman. So I think she's another candidate, you know, IVF and all that type of stuff. And
Turkey baster. Yeah, turkey baster, bastard it up.
Kendra G's full of it, right? Is she even in a relationship right now?
Yes. Yep.
She's
She's
in one.
still with that guy. She's still with that African dude.
Yep. She with some African
Oh,
brother.
she with an African dude? Oh, hell. Hell no. We can't, nope, we can't take, nah.
He got bread. He got bread. He done look, hey brother, he done upgrade her to the Rolls Royce Spectre. You know what I'm saying?
Don't matter,
This
bro.
is premium green card bay, angry man.
It don't matter. It don't matter if she couldn't pull a homegrown brother. I'm sorry. Like that's a disqualification right there. You feel me? The thing that trips me out about her is she brings up that point about, oh, well, the reason why dating is messed up nowadays is because, you know, back in the day, you know, the men were able, you know, grandpa did this and grandpa, like, I get so sick of hearing that story because it's disingenuous. Of course, when grandpa passes away, you're going to find out he has kids outside of the marriage because they're going to show up at the funeral. When grandma passed away, you're not going to find out about her kids outside of the marriage because grandpa raised them damn kids, even though he don't know they wasn't his. You feel what I'm saying? So mama never get outed. You feel me? And then when you go back to that time, won't no DNA testing back then. So none of the brothers knew if they was raising kids that was actually theirs. It was mama's baby and daddy's maybe.
That don't exist. That
she
never
can't-
happened, angry
Oh, you
man.
know it.
That never
You know
happened.
it
That ain't
did,
in the
bruh.
movies. That ain't in the movies.
You know it did. You know they was you know when Papa was out working, you feel what I'm saying? Like you never know who was in there busting them cheeks down. You feel me? But the other thing is like she doesn't want to be honest about it. The reason why dating is so different now is so many factors. You've got the social media factor. You've got the fact that black people have way more freedom and way more choices than they had before. See, before you had to stay within the confines of the black community and you had to kind of stick together because you had so much opposition. You had so much prejudice, so much BS going on that you had to stick together. See, now you got the option where you don't got to stick together. And in addition to that, women today do not pride themselves on being ladies. Men today do not pride themselves on operating the way men used to operate. So of course you're gonna have all kinds of problems. But I tell you this, Kendra G ain't solving it with that show over there. That train wreck over there, that shit is crazy. You feel me? And you know the
candidate wild over there, boy. They wild. That whole place is nuts.
Yeah. I like that show. Every time I see that show when they be over there talking, because isn't it sometimes dudes call into that show from prison?
Yes, Prison Bay. He's desirable. Prison Bay has proven to be more resourceful than some of these free nugs. Gotta specify.
I can't even watch Kendra G, man. Like every time I see any of them clips, man, I feel like I need a penicillin shot afterwards. For real. Like